how's it going? Long time no see. I'm really sorry about that. I know that I haven't recorded since, I guess it was December the last time that you guys saw me. There's really no reasonable explanation for that. I just haven't recorded. I've been stitching and I've been doing a little bit something else, a little bit other crafting, and I'll be sure to sort of tell you more about that here in a little bit, but I just wanted to come and say hi, give you guys a little bit of an update. I'm hoping this is going to be a short video, but we all know that the best laid plans fall apart, and so we'll see what happens. So I have a finish, which I know you're all excited to see. I also have several works in progress, some haul, and then, as I alluded to, that other crafting thing that I got started. I know you're all waiting on the edge of your seats. So let's just go ahead and get going. I guess I will start with the finish because I know you're all excited to see. Yes, I did finish Winter White Santa by Mirabilia. And he's a little bit wrinkled because I couldn't very well re-iron him after I finished up the beading. So I'm hoping that when I take him to the framers, either myself or my stepdad, when he gets to the framers, they will stretch him out so that he will be straight. And so this is going to take some, he's going to go out of frame, but I'll just do my best to try to show all of him. So there's my Santa, and he's all done. Now his staff, I talked about those bugle beads I was having a hard time with. They just do not lay straight unless I force them to, which is why I may take them to the framers rather than letting my stepdad do that, so that I can better explain that to the framers. But I am really, really excited about how it turned out. Really, really happy. And I'll just show again. He's so big. I forget, you know, I finished this in like very early January. I pushed to the finish. I think I finished it around like 11:30 at night in January 7th. And probably one of those dates I will never forget. So it's been a little while since I've seen him, and he's pretty big. But so actually I'm going to see my stepdad today, and so we will talk about who's going to frame him, and he will finally have him 3 months after Christmas. Oh well, you know, that's life. So yeah. So that's that, and that's my only finish. I know that a lot of people have finished up their Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Woodland Sampler and gotten started on this year's sampler. I haven't. And the reason for that is that I'm still trying to decide what to do with it. The friend of mine that said that she would take it for her kindergarten class has decided that she doesn't want it. And so I guess it's for me, and so I'm going to stitch the year into it, and I guess I will do 2013 since it was technically a 2013 project, even though, you know, there's several hundred stitches that I will do here in 2014, but whatever. But I haven't made any progress on that at all, so there's no point in showing you guys. And so let's go on with my works in progress. I have 2 new starts and 1 oldie that finally made a comeback. So we'll start with that one. My boyfriend has been asking about Mini Pearl since, I want to say, October of last year. I was focused on Santa, and so I wasn't working on it, and then a couple of other projects sort of came up. So anyway, I finally sat down and started Pearl again last week. And so the progress that I'm showing, it's a little bit of a disaster right now. Because I've got threads hanging off all over the place and whatnot. So just bear with me. She's also still on the frame because I was actively stitching on her about an hour ago. And so that little half a page with all the strands coming off, that is where I'm at. And so there she is all together. She's pretty small compared to Santa. I hadn't remembered that. But there's a close-up. The shading in this part is it's a little interesting. That the dark purple blobs, they're meant to be like just darker bits of the background. It's just meant to look darker on that side. And I'm not in love with the shading there, but you know, it is what it is. I'm really impressed with how her face is working out. I think I've talked about this before, but I think it looks really lifelike. And so that's that. Geez, oh Pete, I didn't realize it was such a mess. So anyway, that's that. That's Minnie Pearl. And that is a Heaven and Earth design. And the artist is Rachel Anderson. And that is being stitched on 25 count, either off-white or antique white Lugana. So that's that one. And then, oh, I was going to show you what she'll look like in the finished piece, because everybody gets curious about that. So that's Minnie Pearl. And you see right in there is where I'm at. Right at the very tip of her top wing. The next one is, it's kind of interesting. So I started cross-stitching about a year ago based on I'm a book blogger, or at least I was. Anyway, a fellow book blogger posted on her book blog some of her cross-stitch updates. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting, and so I got into it. Well, I want to say about 2 months ago, she and I talked about doing a stitch-along together on the same Heaven and Earth design, because she's never done one before, and the artist that she was really interested in is one of my favorite artists, and so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I got my start in the middle of January, and I thought I was running really, really late because we had planned on starting on January 1st. So, anyway, about 2 weeks ago, I got the first page finished. Isn't that cool? I just love all the colors in this. There are so many colors, which just means that it's full of confetti. And then for a frame of reference, there's what the finished will look like. So it's a cute little dragon. My boyfriend has nicknamed him Smaug after the one from The Hobbit. And so what I'm working on is this, or what I've finished is this in here. So that is that. And this one is considerably larger than Pearl. Pearl, I think, is around 75,000 stitches, and Smaug is 192,000 stitches, so like 3 times the size of Pearl. Altogether, there are 28 pages worth of chart, and so you can imagine, if you can, it's going to fill up all but 2 inches around the border on this giant piece of fabric. So I have a long way to go. But that's okay. I don't mind at all. So the issue with this is that, as it turns out, my stitch-along partner hasn't done anything. Nothing. I guess she tried to start, and she had some problems, and she's got other stuff going on in her life, and so she hasn't done anything about it. And so I've decided that I'm not going to work on it anymore. I'm going to focus on the other things that I want to do until she catches up. So that's that. I mean, I'm not upset about it or anything. I understand that life comes up, but I was just kind of a little bummed a bit, just because I was panicking that I was behind and really working on it and focusing on it, not doing anything else. And yeah, so that's that. That's Smaug. And then my last new start, it's a really small design, and it is a free pattern, so I can show you the whole thing. It's a free pattern from Vermilion Stitchery, which I had never heard of until, obviously, I discovered it. And so, this is my little snowman. I started this at the very beginning of February thinking, okay, it's a small design, right? I can push through and finish it by Valentine's Day. Oh no, maybe Valentine's Day next year. But if you can see that, if it'll focus, and it may not, there are 1,000,001 half stitches. And so that requires quite a little brain power. Which is fantastic, you know, I like mind intensive patterns, you know. So anyway, there's that. And here is my progress, if that's what you want to call it. So that's that. So this is a part of a series that Vermilion Stitchery puts out. They do sort of a calendar kind of a thing. And this, I believe it's from the 2008 calendar. Yes, this is from the 2008 Snowman series calendar, and this was the February. And then the rest of the months feature snowmen dressed up in various costumes, and so I think the one for October is a witch. The one for July is dressed in a lot of American patriotic gear. So yeah, so that's that. And they have released their previous series, I think, for 2008, 2009, and 2010. And I don't know about the other years. But anyway, I just fell in love with that little snowman. I thought I could get him done. I didn't, so this is kind of taking a little bit of a back seat just because I've had enough of snow and winter, and I'm ready for it to be spring. So that's that. And so those are all of my works in progress, 2 of which are kind of on the shelf. One is a focus. And I'm hoping to add another one here soon. I think that once I finish this page on Pearl, I will get started on this new one. And so that brings me to my haul. So this is not all of the stuff that I've purchased over the months. But these are the major projects. And like, I'm not going to show you the various threads that I bought, or I bought some fabrics. I bought some Heaven and Earth designs, but I don't really know which ones I've shown you, and so I'm just not going to show you that. But I'm going to show you this stuff that I bought. And so the one that I alluded to that I think I'm going to start here pretty soon is this. And this is Rose Fairy, and it's by Joan Elliott. Pretty, huh? I'm doing this one for my stepdad's girlfriend, and I'm not going to go into my family dynamic because it's far too confusing even for me to understand, let alone for you guys. But essentially, my stepdad's girlfriend, when I showed him Santa, my progress that I had made on Christmas, she lost it. She got so excited about the Santa and cross-stitch in general, and she's asking me questions about it, and she wants to know more, and she's like, her mind is like totally about the whole ordeal. And so I was like, well, I know what I'm going to do for you for Christmas. And so I secretly asked my stepdad. She doesn't know that I'm going to do one for her. But I asked him what he thought she would like. And he said, pretty, girly, flowery. Gee, thanks for the help. And so I sent him a bunch of ideas. I sent him a Mirabilia because I thought, you know, it might go cool with the Santa, like a similar design aesthetic. And he was like, yeah, I like them all. I'm like, okay. So I put that on the shelf for a little while, and then I discovered Joan Elliott's flower series. I mean, I had seen them before, but I sort of rediscovered them through 1-2-3 Stitch. And so on a whim, I just went ahead and got her. And then the fabric, I don't know what the fabric used here. I think it's really pretty. But I decided to go with something different. and I can't remember what it's called. Let me see, I got my sticker on it. So this is Confetti. Yeah, that's right. So it's called Confetti, and it's by Picture This Plus, that I ordered from 123 Stitch, because I just love how they do fabrics these days. They do this fantastic edging so that there's no fraying, and they do this with every cut of fabric that you order, which I just love that, because I have fray check, like a solution that you spread along the edges, but I don't like using it because when I get excited about starting, I don't want to have to wait a day to start. So anyway, so this is Confetti, and it's, oh good, you can see the colors. So it's mostly a yellow, but with bits of blues and pinks and purples kind of dyed all the way throughout. And that little dark spot that you see on this side of it, that's just the sticker. It's just the reverse of the sticker. But so that's that. And so I think that she'll look pretty nice on there. What do you guys think? Think she'll look good? I sure hope so. I used the fabric viewer that I will be sure to link in the down bar to test it out to see if I would like it. And so this is 28 count Lugana, and she will be stitched 2/2. And then I had to order the embellishments, which I normally wouldn't show you, but I really, really like them. So first is your typical gold krennic. Gold krennic. I probably have some of this, but I just decided to order more just in case, because I don't know to what extent she uses krennic in her designs. And then these are all of the beads. And I think they're gorgeous. I'm really excited about them. I especially like these. Whoop. Sorry about that. I don't know, I just like that color a lot. So anyway, so those are the beads, and I will start on that soon. I think her birthday's in November, so maybe I'll try to do it for her birthday, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then, oh, let's talk about Christmas, because I haven't shown you guys what I got cross-stitch-wise for Christmas. I got absolutely showered with just fantastic, fantastic patterns, and I have no idea how all of these came from my boyfriend's family. I have no idea how they knew that I wanted these, but nevertheless, they found out. And so all three are Mirabilia / Nora Corbett. And so this is the first one. And this is Siren Song. I love the colors. And then this is Persephone. And Persephone just happens to be my favorite of the Greek myths. And so there she is eating a pomegranate, which is a very Persephone thing to do. And this last one makes me most excited. This is Elizabeth. She is, Elizabeth was my grandma's name. My grandma passed away 16 years ago this year. But when I first started stitching, I just immediately looked up cross stitches with various names, and Elizabeth was one of them, and this popped up. And I just love it. And my grandma was by no means one of those like extravagantly dressed people ever, but I just like that her name is Elizabeth. And so I'm very excited to stitch that one. I'm still shopping for the right fabric. I'm trying to decide if I should do a solid for this to not detract from the image itself, or if I should find a really pretty hand-dyed. I don't know. But I have that nonetheless, and I'm really excited. Okay, two more to show you. This is just fabric. So I've talked about the Passion Enricomo Mermaid of the Deep, or Journey into the Deep SAO from last year. I haven't even started on that, but it's in the plans, obviously, as they all are. And in the meantime, Passion Enricomo has come out with a design that is a celebration of 20 years designing. And so this is a stitch along that starts on the 25th, so 11 days. And Laura, who is the main designer for Paseo Enricomo, came out with some fabric requirements, very baseline fabric requirements, and then the DMC list for the first 3 phases. This design is going to use a whole ton of beads and a bunch of treasure braid, just like Journey into the Deep, but those don't start until the next 3 steps, and so I can hold off on getting a hold of that. In the meantime, I had to find fabric, and so what I found, this is 32 count Belfast, and surprise, surprise, it is from 123 Stitch, and also, huge surprise, it's from Picture This Plus. And it is called Ariel, the color. And it's just blues and whites. It kind of looks like the sky a little bit. It's not very, it's not busy. It's just, it's background fabric, but it's gorgeous. I really enjoy working on linen, and so I'm excited to start this one on linen. And I'm thinking that I'm going to start this one on the start day. That is my plan, / hope. We'll see what happens. So anyway, so there's that. And so I will be sure to show you guys as that comes to life. The last one was a total impulse buy. I was killing time on Instagram, and I get, I'll search the hashtag cross stitch just to see what other people are working on. And for the most part, I get kind of bored with what people are working on because it's a lot of that subversive cross stitch, or it's the little people, like everybody's family. And I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. But I saw this, and whoever posted it didn't post the name of it, but I Google image searched, and I found it, and I had to have it. And so this is a design by Designworks, which is something new to me. But it is called Coffee Break. And so it's just these 12 designs with a bunch of different coffees in them. And I don't know if I've expressed this, but I love coffee. And not only that, but I love all of the, like off coffee, like a frappuccino and cafe lattes and everything pictured here. Although I haven't had a Turkish coffee yet. I had a Turkish roommate who wanted to make me Turkish coffee, but I was a little frightened. Just because I hear that Turkish coffee is very intense, and that it's not what we Americans see as coffee. It's a little different. But anyway, so that's that. This came as a kit, and I am slightly unimpressed with the kit. It came with the fabric, it came with a needle, it came with Aida, but I think I'm going to switch it out and do it on 28 count linen because I don't like Aida so much. And then it came with the threads. Unfortunately, they are DMC threads, and they're pre-sorted, but, well, let me just show you, and then I can talk about this nightmare. So there it is. And there is no labeling whatsoever. Like you see, there's no label. And there's no label on the back to even tell me what color is what. And not only that, but these are kind of in here haphazardly. Now, they're really long strands. And so I don't think that they will fall out on their own. But if they did, I wouldn't know what was what. And that kind of bothers me a little bit. So the good news is I have a pretty extensive, I have most of the DMCs, and so I can figure out what's what, but it's just, it's a pain. Like, the pattern, let me pull this out so I can talk to you about it. I don't want to show you anything. So the pattern has the colors all listed in order, and so if I orient this the right way, if I orient this thing the right way, then I can figure out what's what. And like some of them are obvious, like this here, that's 310, that's black. And And so I can orient myself to try to figure out what's what on my own. But I was just like, I don't know if it's because I'm used to the dimensions organization of things. They have it down pat. Like, they've got the color number, they have the symbol, they have a really fantastic thread organizing system. I really like the way that they organize things. And so this, I was like, well, that's a bummer. But it is what it is, and I will figure it out. I don't know when I'm going to start that because I've got much else to do, but nevertheless, there's that. And that is all of the haul that I have to show you. I have some more on the way. Something that I'm really, really, really excited about. But it's on the way and I don't have tracking information, so it's just going to show up at my door one of these days. But that will be an April 1st start. So I have a lot of starts on the way. So it's been 26 minutes or so. I know this is a long video. And so if you are uninterested in knitting, you may want to turn off. Continue on, I totally understand. Not everybody's interested in knitting. But that is the new craft that I've gotten into. That probably accounts for 50% of the reason why I haven't made as much progress on these projects as expected. So anyway, if you're off, see you later. I'll be back with another video soonish. I can't make promises. I'm not very good at that. But in the future, if I decide to continue doing knitting videos, I will separate them so that you don't have to watch them all the way through. And so, catch you guys later. In the meantime, let's talk about knitting. So, I'm not really sure why I started knitting. It was just one of those things where I was just like, I want to try it. I think it's because our Walmart has the knitting stuff right there next to the cross-stitch stuff, and both of which are very, very lame supplies. Like, there's not much of either. But I went to go grab a color of DMC, and I happened to walk by the yarn, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I could knit? So I watched some YouTube videos, and I learned how to knit. And at first, I hated it. I was like, this is not for me. It's a giant waste of money. Kudos to everybody who can do it. Like, good for you. But not for me. And for whatever reason, it kept, like, churning in my head. Like, I don't want to not figure something out, Like, I felt like I was being beaten up by this giant ball of yarn and 2 sticks. And I was just, well, long story short, I have figured it out. And I can now knit. Not well, not quickly, nothing too complicated, but I can knit. And so I have some things to show you. I have 3 finished objects, but, well, I have 4. One of them is a dishcloth, and y'all have seen dishcloths before. It's not really that exciting. One of them is a headband that I think is down in Blacksburg. So I can't show you that at this point. So I have 2 finishes that I can show you and one that I'm working on currently. And so I'm going to make this quick because I could talk all day about these projects. So the first one I have here is a scarf. Because what do you do when you learn how to knit? You knit a dishcloth and then you knit a scarf. And so this is my scarf. And it's actually a gift from my brother. Pardon the dog hair. So that's that. And it's about, I think I measured it, it's about, well, I think it's shrunk since it's dried. But anyway, it's significant. It's for my brother. It's really heavy. I don't know. You're not going to be able to see the color very well, but there's blue that's showing up, and that's not accurate. I'm not getting true color here. It's a deep dark black and gray mottled. Matthew, if you're watching this, which I don't think you are because you're driving at this point, so I can tell you all about it. So this scarf is called, it's the New York, oh, what's it called? I'll link in the down bar to the pattern on Ravelry, which is a community, a social media site for knitters or crocheters. It's the New York Guy's Warm Scarf, I think. And this is knit. I wish that you could see this. Well, you can't, so c'est la vie. It is knit out of Malabrigo 100% superwash merino, and it's worsted weight. So it's a pretty thick weight yarn. It's single ply, but it's beautiful and super soft and fuzzy and just awesome. And the colorway, which is how you describe colors in knitting. I'm schooling people on knitting. If you don't know, then I can talk about a couple things. The colorway, which is how you describe colors on the yarn, it is called Tortuga, which I think is just fantastic. I get a kick out of names of colors. So the island of Tortuga from Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, I get really excited about it. So that's that. And so I'm going to give that to him today. And then the next thing that I finished is for me. And again, excuse the dog hair. My goodness. And so it is this. And this is a cowl. So it's all one piece. And this is, oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of this. Nah, don't worry about it. I'll link it in the down bar to the Ravelry page. This is knit out of Claudia's hand-painted yarns. And this is a dyer based out of Harrisonburg, Virginia, so just a couple hours away from me. And the colorway is Hokies, which is just awesome. So it's orange and maroon, which is just like the Virginia Tech colors. A lot like my necklace here, the Virginia Tech orange and maroon. When I found this yarn, I about fell over because I was so excited about it. And I'm definitely going to have to knit something else with this in the future. I'll have to get some more. I used 95% of the skein to knit this. This is what they call a fingering weight yarn. And so it's considerably thinner than the worsted weight. And this is just, it's a really simple knit. It's there's a row of knit stitches and then purl stitches. And then knit and purl. And it's just in varying lengths. And so that's that. And so I haven't really had a chance to wear it yet because I haven't found a way to wear it. I think that I overblocked it. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great. I blocked it kind of strange. I cut 2 hangers and I strung it on the hanger, and then I let the one hanger fall to pull it so that it would stretch out a little bit because it was like a circumference of like that when it was first done knitting. And so I let it hang there to dry, and so I think I overblocked it, which is okay. You know, it was my first time experiencing it. It was kind of like my learning project. I learned how to knit in the round, so in a circle with this one. So this was, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a good project. And that one took me far too long. I give you start and end dates on these, but I don't really remember exactly. I should have written all of this information down before starting. Oh well, okay. So then I have one current work in progress knitting-wise. And I really hope to get this done before this weekend. And I'll explain to you why here in just a second. But here is my progress. Let's see if I can do this without getting everybody confused. So there's that. And then here's the ball, so you can see the ball. Oh, that's almost true to color. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's fantastic. So you can really see the greens and purples and pinks in there. There's the top of the ball. And so this yarn is by Leading Men Fiber Arts. They are an independent dyer based out of I think Minnesota, and it's two men, and one of them runs a podcast called Dramatic Knits. Podcasting is kind of like YouTube cross-stitching, except it's very well organized, and there's a huge community of knitting podcasters. And anyway, so I watched Dramatic Knits, and I saw this when they were doing their update video on some of the yarns that they had coming out. So this is a fingering weight wool. Fingering weight, and it is superwash merino and nylon. I want to say it's 70-30, but I don't know. 70% superwash, 30% nylon. And it's really, really fabulous to work with. I'm really excited about it. So the pattern here is called the Hitchhiker, and the designer's name is Martina Bem. And the Hitchhiker is a really popular pattern on Ravelry. And so we have these little teeth. As you can see, I'm not very far. I think I have 14 teeth here, and the total is 42. And as you go along, the teeth get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But so there's my progress on that. So now, the story behind this. The colorway for this is called No Good Deed. No Good Deed. Which is just awesome. So, this weekend, my brother and I are headed to New York City. And we are going to go see Wicked on Broadway. And I am so excited to get to go see Wicked on Broadway. I can't even tell you. One day, I was just thinking, I would really like to get some yarn from New York, like souvenir yarn or something like that. And then I started watching the Dramatic Knits podcast, and I saw this in their update, and I went, that's my yarn. Like, I know I'm not getting it in New York, and it has absolutely nothing to do with New York, but is that not Wicked in a yarn? Like, purples, greens for Alphaba? Like, it's so witchy and just fantastic. And it's knitting up to really hold that color. So, I was really, really excited. And so I ordered it. In the meantime, I called my brother, and I said, Matt, I found the most spectacular yarn for our trip. And it's called No Good Deed. And I said, and it looks like Wicked in a yarn. And he said, well, you know that No Good Deed is the name of a song in Wicked, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. I'm just blown. My mind. I'm so excited about this silly little ball of yarn. So there's that. And so that's what I'm working on. We are taking a train tomorrow at around 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 or 7:30, something like that. And so I'm going to work on that while we're going to New York City, and then we're going to go see the show, and we're going to spend some time in the city, and then I'll knit it on the way back if I'm not sleeping, because it's like 12 hours in the city. I'm going to be exhausted. But I'm very, very excited. So that's that. And those are my knitting. Oh my goodness, this video is 40 minutes long. Guys, I'm sorry. If you stuck it out, good for you. You are fantastic. Thank you. The next time that I do an update, I hope to not make it so long. I need to cut this down into little bits and pieces. So hauls and works in progresses and finishes. And so that is my goal for the next couple of months, is to break it down and to come back to you twice a week, maybe. We'll see what happens. I would like to do some more knitting videos. I'm really slow, so those videos will be rare, few and far in between. So that's that. All right, I'm going to cut this now, and I will see you guys next time, okay? All right, bye.